Hello, good morning. My name is Josephine Upon Iebua. Welcome to the morning's edition of Newsbreak. This program is also available on DSTV channel 277. Coming up, thousands of Gadangmes hit the streets of Accra in demand for a return of the Accra Community Center to the Gadangme Traditional Council and a stop to the undue acquisition and misappropriation of Gadangme lands by government officials. We'll bring you more. Today, thousands of Gadangmes hit the streets of Accra in demand for a return of the Accra Community Center to the Gadangme Traditional Council and a stop to the undue acquisition and misappropriation of Gadangme lands by government officials. Gabriel Torgbor-Ashong is there with them and will be joining us shortly to give us a live report from where they are marching from and where they are going into. So, as and when we get Gabriel, we shall certainly put him online. So, thousands of Gadangme hit to the streets of Accra in demand for a return of the Accra Community Center to the Gadangme Traditional Council and a stop to the undue acquisition and misappropriation of lands by government officials. Gabriel, if you can hear me, take it over.
Right, so what exactly are we witnessing today?
It's a massive but peaceful demonstration, and this is primarily to register our misgivings about happenings on our land. We all know that for some time now the military has been taking over some pieces of land, covering over 500 acres. And we think that at this inappropriate time, the military shouldn't have done that. But our findings indicate that there are some government appointees, officials, and the powers themselves who are behind the looting of our land. And it is a very, very shameful act. And we know each and every loving peace person in Ghana will join us to register this displeasure. This is a peaceful demonstration, and we would want to prove to everybody that we are law-abiding citizens. This is a coalition of youth associations, of which I am the president, shouldered by my able executive members. And that is what you see. This is to tell you that we are very, very serious about this. Being serious does not mean you should take gas. It does not mean you should go violent. But we are saying that the right thing must be done so that peace will reign in Ghana forever and ever. They should remember that the Catamanso War...
What are we witnessing?
This is to tell you that we are calling on the powers that be to intervene in the situation. It is also to tell you that we are very serious to what we are doing. We should never be taken for granted. And for that matter, the word La is rising. The name La is rising up. The youth are rising. The whole men are behind us. And better things will come.
Right. So we are coming your way at the moment from Labone Junction, still within the La municipality, where you have hundreds or thousands to say of Gadangme young people together with their traditional leaders protesting against misappropriation of Gadangme lands, and they are also demanding that the Accra Community Center be returned to them. As we speak, we have massive military presence around the La Pamoine Junction and Barracks area awaiting the people to come. So let me quickly get to yet another leader of the team. So we understand the military are waiting for you around the Pamoine Junction area. Don't you fear this may turn violent?
You know, we don't have any business with military today. We are peaceful citizens. We are demonstrating peacefully. And we have given our route. The police is guiding us. We have never alerted military we are doing any demonstration. If they decide they want to exercise their body and they are standing there, when we get there, we will pass peacefully as citizens of Ghana, good citizens. But if they provoke us, then they will see the reason why previously we were called Agba. We don't have any fear for anybody. They would have to kill all of us before they can take the land. If they want to kill us, they should wait for us. When we get there, they shoot everybody. If they leave one person, we'll come back. The reason why they are call us in crime is that the more you destroy, the more we come. The more you kill, the more we come. We are not going to fight. We don't have arms and ammunition. But they should go ahead, fight us and kill us. When they have finished all of us, then they can take the land.
Right, so you are hearing from leaders of these Gadangme young people. They've come all the way from Krobo, from Gamashi, La, and other parts of the Gun State and then that of Dangbe to embark on these demonstrations.
All right, so Gabriel Oboda Torgbor-Ashong speaking to the leaders of the Coalition of La Youth Association of Gadangme. They are demonstrating over the Accra Marine project. They are also demonstrating that the government returned to them the community center to the Gadangme Traditional Council, and also a stop to the undue acquisition of and misappropriation of Gadangme lands by government officials. Certainly, the demonstration is ongoing. You can see it's really peaceful so far, with police personnel around to make sure that peace prevails. But we'll cross over in subsequent bulletin and bring you more updates. You're still watching Newsbreak, coming to you from our studios here at Labon.
Ne amenfa japade ni bo preje nyumo ka dura me lele amna lo ka police fo ha wogbe me no so mo na ko mo bonale na be egbele wo mene wa to wodwe mu wa fa obo ade ni ai je wo wono ni bo preje nyu bo ka ba duro wo ni kaji wo ngbegbe ni angokete ye wo se oba bi wo heni lo wa ko mo bonale ko duro mo na mene gbegbele ye won ya e wo ko fo bo fo efe ai ni amra lo eyo ye ni president yo to bo fo ke ya jeme no ni wo fe ne na ke la ke no ni Gadangme bi ke ne obo ade ni amengo ye wodin le wo to bo fo na ma ni nale ne ngo wo gbe fo no ha wo ni Gadangme ajo ene wo bi obo ye che kabi kamomo konko legba mi amen amen to dey pokwa mi kan asasa fe ba jo afrani ne no dan nka kwa hweshi mena jufo ni ma jufo na ma jufo bi fe nyiba ya konye nua nya ka jo mo tuna ba jo wo bo da wule okwa chefo bo di ade amena na nyo bo bi ode o ba ye ko ni adu pass akutwentwenti wo ni adu na ofra adu wi adu yo ba ye ko na di agbro ma nya ngreshi yo obi ya wara baba ba ye ko o sabu ola te gbegbe te nga inu mo ba ye ko na ko la butu fi wo ko se boni baba ye ko enu ngbe cha ke nga cha do to mele lo si ogbongbo o be cha we no te cha we ba ye ko ni se ba ye ko ni okuma ga ba ye ko ni jobu ko no yima ke nga na se le ba ye ko ni yoko ba ye ko ni ba mo ba ye ko ni abesa frimi ba ye ko ni wiabo ba ye ko ni sakumo ko le te nya kwa fre ba ye ko ni lo mada ba ye ko ni kroyelo fosu ba ye ko na kwesi aboyo mo mebo kana eboso ka miefu wo ko lo yo mini wo yo to kweto awo ta kweto ba ye ko na afie okropon uji na gwanta na obi se bisa sanfre pokpogba yo ba ye ko bedu opon bedu oskasra ban ba ye ko ni breku akan wo na ha wo lo kama ka jalangba ka gbo obuto pro ka to adan shulawo bibi ka uji ka meni ben wole fenje ba ya ko nyenu ka tan kanibu afu enya menesia me mene yani wodumo ne adada buko mambuko ngbengbe kutu wonchabo so agbolo wonchabo gbagbe saba wonchabo o kangbasi ka cheta ya lo wonchenye na nyeba fambo ni ebe ko neho nyeto atai ha boni mene be she ango Gadangme fe japade ye wodi mene bone ma bi ka Gadangme fe wona ekpeshi won ya wa to wo dwemu wa fa woni ai ni wo ya na to kwa katwamko ni wo ya na ta kwa katwamko be ni wo na ebu ahye na won to susu ma fe wonye de kejo wi fo na ka soro plan ko ka ya ni wo ya wa ka ku wo se let me na ka me fe nje gbia ma wa to nga je ta won ya ni wa fa woni ai wo ya wa tote wo ya wa je si wa fa woni ai je wo yu na ke je lele keji tetela akpa keji oye lele no tayaloji bo ni bo na ke ake tayaloji bo mene nyamo wo ye ke ya look wa hye wo sipon no wo wiemo ka wo petitions fa ni wo ngba no wo ka amna lo na me hele to njole mi ni shida ni sa wo ka hanye bai ni wo bia ne me fe ne jeni ma adumo wo safa na me to from ba so wo no temeni jakpele wo nyemeni jakpele wo akpala wo shinan akpala wo ya diden afa monjo ajo wo wona tule to agrama wona fule to nyoji wona ko wona lekabi ni wo to ni wonna lo elo ma wala wala Gadangme fe wala wo tabi lo fe wala ni wo paje fe ni wo gbala ba so wo didona isi ajo ni mla kwen twa no manya ni babra
One chat at the Agba. I come of Femo, ne fayi. I can fit one Nibiao. Now, color was shipon, Kajam Nalo Minjo, Uncle Joe. What can you wakana me Jomeda? Tatela Pakana me Jomeda. Nikayang ya. I'm a temo Femo. Nele Conis and Adriano Conefe. Cabachonic Bentane. Wakaleako Camo. Tatela Pakalaye. Wakwe Kalaye. Nila den chaka na nibiana ebia yaka na wala den chaka na wala eni bi fene ba fia ka shole e shika na eni tumo fe toton enne wato wa ne ba ya me no wana fe na mengme woni bia ya wo ye twa no manya ba
that they have been warned never to take by the Attorney General, that they have been warned by the judiciary, the courts, never to do so. And unfortunately, the military does not respect the institution of law. Maybe the powers that be also do not respect the rule of law and democracy in Ghana. And that is why we have got it so. As we stand now, or we're working now, I want you to understand that the military have taken over 500 acres of land. And they are helping one Bedema, who of course has lost case in the court of a particular land, to, construct another war, only to loot more of the land.
But with all these lands you are fighting for, when the government releases it to you, then you sell them off. So what's the essence for fighting for it?
Thank you very much. Today is not the first time we are fighting for. Today is not the first time we are fighting for. The truth of the matter is that we did it in 2005. About 12 acres of land was released to our chiefs. They entered into some kind of investment with it. That we cannot say much. But we are telling you that this time around, if this land is given out, we have a future. Our children should have a future. Our children's children should also have a future. So we are talking about development scheme, so that at least 10% of the land should go into the development scheme, should go into an educational scheme, so that people will enjoy scholarship in law. And forever we would not be treated as savages on our land. Because per education will have the highest respect in terms of reputation. So we are saying that we would want the military, the government, and everybody who has taken our land, all the powers that syndicate that are behind the looting of our land, to desist from doing so. Because we will not stop today, we will not stop tomorrow.
All right.
We will make sure that whatever we are fighting for.
Okay, so that's the people, and they are still demonstrating. They are pouring libation, rendering libation to curse anyone involved in acquiring their lands. And these are young people who have actually come right across the Gadangme state, from Krobo, from Adan, Ningo Prampram, Gamashin, Osula, Teshinungwa. You can just name them. The traditional Ga communities have their representatives here, and they are going to meet up. We are at a very critical point because we are nearing the International Trade Fair Center, where, as we speak, there are several soldiers lined up there, well armed, with security dogs and a whole lot. And they are also bracing themselves up, hoping to get there and not to be intimidated by the military, officers. So let's get there. We shall continue to update you to know exactly how this is really going to end. But their message is clear. Halt the Accra Marine Drive project and talk to the natives on the way forward. And again, return the Accra Community Center to us. And lastly, for the military to stop acquiring their land with impunity. We shall continue to follow up and then keep you updated. Now, we've been working, and as you can clearly see from my voice, I'm becoming quite exhausted, but that's the beauty of the work. We shall be right here to keep you updated. So follow our major bulletins. But till then, well, so as you can see, they are beginning to chant and then sing some of their traditional songs. So it can just take a while to listen to them. So you can hear them clearly chanting in their traditional folkloric songs. We are getting to the Palm Junction where the military are lined up. Whatever happens there, we shall keep you updated. But it is becoming tense, as you are seeing, and they are really gearing up for whatever shall happen. they want to send a clear message to government that never again should they be taken for granted in handling of their lands and other resources.
Gadangme, Lame, non yete, non ye by, Wayami. Ena here be Nija Yabi. What's a Mokomoko Bay? What's a Tuko What's a Tackle? One back at him. Oh, my here to the to what show me. Oh, here to one show me. You are come on here to where I said Bay. What's a Mokomoko Bay?
Of press conferences to register our concerns to the stakeholders in this misfortune and the people of Ghana. This we have done in recent months for 3 times, but which have all fallen on deaf ears. Hence, our recourse to another legitimate tool of demonstration to make our point more forceful than ever. We wish to state, Mr. President, that we have kept a very loud silence all this while, even in the face of the naked robbery of our lands and other provocative things that have been dealt Lame and Gadangme people. Like the proverbial snake, however, our peace has been disturbed by the latest action of the Ghana Armed Forces. An institution, Mr. President, which Mr. President happens to be its chief commander-in-chief. And unfortunately, some unscrupulous government officials are behind their actions. In the light of the foregoing, we feel marginalized and harassed on our own land. And if we do not speak out, then we shall be shaved clean against our wish. We therefore petition you, Your Excellency, to consider the following issues and have them addressed in the earliest possible time. The Ghana Trade Fair Company Sale Partnership, the Bema Camp Enclave, Southla Estates, Cantonment Lands, University of Ghana Lands, Legon Presec Lands, Medina Cemetery and sites for bank for housing and construction, Medina Community Center, Social Welfare Lands, Adenta Aviation Lands, and sites for state housing, Accra Technical Training Center Lands, and Amrahia Dairy Farms. The Ghana International Trade Fair was compulsorily acquired in 1967, and to date, no compensation has been paid whatsoever. We are of the view that in the absence of compensation having been paid to the owners of the land, the property shall revert to the Alodia owners pursuant to Article 20, 5 and 6 of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana. We demand that since the acquisition period expires in the next 9 years, the Lands Commission has extended it by another 50 years into private hands. Government must pay the necessary compensation first before entering into another transaction. We have information that government had talked with some Irish, Dubai, South African contractors, but yet to bear any fruit. If anything of that sort is happening or will ever take place, we humbly posit that without compensation, LA remains the major stakeholder and must duly be accorded the highest equity in the transaction. The military has no land, full stop. Mr. President, it is on record that in 1953, there was an agreement between Lame and the government of Ghana for the military, and an amount of £20 for a period of 10 years was supposed to be paid. At the end of the 10 years, however, nothing, and I repeat, nothing was paid at all. The military, thus, in our view, is a very bad tenant, and as such, the land should have reverted back to the Alodia owners way back. The current bad blood existing between the military and Lame is squarely an instigation of the military, which has no right of possession nor ownership, but has sought to create a buffer zone without recourse to the appropriate protocols, which resulted in a court action. The ruling finally pronounced that the land rightfully belonged to LA.
and the military should have nothing to do with the said land until proper acquisition has been concluded. It is worthy of note, Mr. President, that a tripartite committee comprising the military, the Attorney General's Department, and the Lands Commission, or the Land Trust, came to a resolution under the hand of the learned Deputy Attorney General, Honorable Dominic Ayine, the return of over 500 acres of land forcibly taken and being shared among government and some officials and top hierarchy of the military. Immediate cessation of all private projects on military land. The Adenta aviation lands and other acquisitions. Mr. President, the Adenta aviation lands of about 614 acres acquired in 1981 by EI-16 has a worrying controversy surrounding it. One sad episode is the loss of our brother, one of our brothers, in the agitation that ensued some time ago. About a quarter of the compensation paid on the land has to be refunded because of the emergence of a number of claimants to the title. Notwithstanding an injunction being placed on the land since 2005, we are reliably informed and shocked at how the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Lands Commission, and the government through cabinet approved of the land use. We again have information that the land is virtually being controlled by one Clement Jato under the watch of the regulatory bodies in the sector. That's Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and the Lands Commission, which have been cited for contempt as we speak. In spite of the pendency of contempt action against the Minister of Lands and his friend Clement Jato, as well as the Executive Secretary of the Lands Commission. And upon all these, they continue to build on the land with impunity and immunity and in complete defiance of the courts and the institutions of law. Adenta site for state housing, acquired by government in 1974 by EI-125, has also not been duly compensated for. The Amrahia Dairy Farm, Mr. President, this parcel of land was also compulsorily acquired by EI-471, 1970, and again, no compensation has been paid till date. We therefore demand compensation in full in current rate. We further demand a return of at least 50% of the bank to its original owners, since the object for acquisition has been relegated to the background. The Prezi Boys Senior Secondary School, Legon, was also acquired in 1951 for a period of 60 years without an executive instrument. Since it was a deed of covenant, just like the Amrahia Dairy Land and other facilities, this deed has long expired and no compensation has been paid. We are therefore demanding not only the compensation of annual £250 under the terms of the agreement in the current value, but also a return of at least 30% of the unused portions of the land to its original owners. The Medina land acquisitions were compulsorily taken, and the list is as follows. Medina site for community center with EI-14 of 1980. Medina Bank for Housing and Construction with EI-20 of 1977. Medina site for school number 6 with EI-11 of 1980. Medina site for public cemetery EI-1.13 of 1980. Medina site for open public space with EI-12 of 1980. Medina site for Department of Social Welfare and Community Development with EI-113 of 1977. And finally, the Medina State School for the Deaf with EI-17, that's 17, of 1984. Your Excellency, all the acquisitions listed above did not and are still not received any compensation at all. It is therefore very fair to demand the necessary compensations at current rate and the return of the unused portions of these lands to their original owners. The stories of these two acquisitions remain same as the others, with no compensation paid till date. We humbly implore you, Mr. President, to expedite action on kicking in the compensation processes on the above-mentioned acquisitions. Our conclusion, Mr. President, you would by now be left with no doubt that Lame and Gadangme people have been very magnanimous with their lands with regards to their hospitality, education, aviation, agriculture, tourism, military, residential sectors, and for the general development of Ghana. It is therefore not misplaced to demand equitable distribution of state resources to cover the uncompensated land facilities compulsorily acquired. Mr. President, rather than resorting to the courts as our first option, we deem it prudent to also demand all the lands compulsorily acquired and which lands have the object of their acquisitions changed to reflect Article 25 and 6 of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana. We equally demand an immediate cessation of the phenomenon of third-party private developer that has characterized the management of state lands in contemporary times by the Lands Commission, Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, and government at large. Mr. President, we are of the view that the issues of press conferences and demonstrations, though our constitutional rights, are triggered by government's inability or refusal to engage stakeholders for full disclosure of the terms of transactions made on the use of our lands. Coalition of La Youth Associations and Gadangme Youth Association expects a presidential declaration on these unresolved issues, land issues, and their attendant issue of litigations in the Greater Accra region. Finally, as we wait on government to resolve our concerns swiftly, we also want to recommend the result to the report on the Special National Investigation Subcommittee on Labadi's Two Lands Affairs, set up on the 4th of August, 1984, which has remained unimplemented ever since completion